Sometimes we get pretty bored while playing the same old open world or FPS shooters and want something different. This is why in this video I have chosen the 10 amazing and most unique games that can turn your boring moments to exciting ones. All these games have a rich storyline with over-the-top graphics and visuals. The best thing about these games is that they are quite new with improved gameplay mechanics and combat. I have also included some bonus games towards the end. So let's look at the first game on our list. Number 10, Hi-Fi Rush.
Let's rock, big boy.
The action and soundtracks are the only two things that will make your overall experience exhilarating. Hi-Fi Rush is such a different approach as it's a rhythmic-based game where you take on the role of the main character and explore the comic book-style world. Personally, what made my gaming experience engaging was the combat and soundtracks. You will get literal chills while playing this game as every now and then you will hear a banger soundtrack in the background. The word boredom will never pop up in your mind. In my opinion, the game is underrated as not many players have played this game. The developers did a great job providing eye-catching visuals and innovative gameplay mechanics. If you like anime-style games, then this will be your prime choice as it was released just recently in 2023. The story is entertaining with some twists and turns. Now, let's talk about some other major highlights of this game. The first one is that the characters are well written. The dialogue and voice acting are the finest I have ever seen. The second one is the ability to immerse the players in constant motion, much like the beats in a rock song. Some of the combo attacks in Hi-Fi Rush is at the level of games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. The animation is perfect that complements the overall gameplay. Look, all I am trying to say is that unlike other third-person games out there, Hi-Fi Rush is not boring at all, and the fast-paced action takes the cake. I also forgot to talk about the customizations, which is a great addition as players can change the characters' outfits. Some of the moments feels like an absolute blast as every beat and song fits perfectly. The boss fights are well designed and even have multiple phases. Overall, I would say Hi-Fi Rush is an experience you don't want to miss out on.
Anyone see the guy that did this? That's the defect! What? No, I was just... Well...
Number 9, Sifu. This game is all about the pinnacle of not getting bored and keep getting better. Sifu is a game that will provide you with an intense, high-difficulty action combat. The game is based on martial arts and have a cool death mechanic. Now, I know that for some players, Sifu might seem boring as they keep dying repeatedly. However, the satisfaction that you get after learning the gameplay mechanics and movesets and finally completing the game is mind-blowing. Despite being a short linear game, it will take you a few extra hours for full completion as you will be facing several enemies and final bosses. The highlights of Sifu are the awesome-looking killing moves and environmental traps. Along with all the pros and cons, the death mechanic takes the cake. In Sifu, after each death you will get older. Now, the more aged you become, the more attack power you will have, but will also die quickly. You will always find yourself in trouble after clearing each stage, because you must refrain from dying and always keep your age in check as there are a total of 5 stages. Each level provides new environments and new type of enemies. From the first to the last mission, your only job is to beat down all the enemies and make your way towards the final boss. Throughout your playthrough, you have the option to unlock secret doors and shortcuts which will come in handy in case you die and restart. Not a lot of people talk about it, but I will say it's astonishing how Sifu managed to provide so much content while having a smaller production budget. I don't want to give you guys any spoilers, so I will only say that the story is about revenge or payback for the crimes. You as a main character needs to hunt down every villain. The replay value of Sifu is quite good until you complete the game. You can play each level several times for a better playthrough. However, once you finish the game you may start feel bored as it's a one-time experience. Number 8, Shadow Warrior.
Everything happens for a reason. That reason is a fully loaded shotgun.
This is a game that is all about slashing your enemies and moving further. Shadow Warrior is a trilogy, means you have 3 amazing games lined up for you. This game caught me by surprise. I never expected such fast-paced hack-and-slash game. There is not much of a good storyline here, so we are not going to talk about it. Shadow Warrior's story is something that just keeps the plot going. The main thing is the action combat in this game. I recommend playing the third part as it was recently released in 2022. You are pretty much dropped in a location and must keep moving forward while killing anyone who comes in your way. The best thing about Shadow Warrior are the coolest weapons and soundtracks. The game literally provides with a bunch of different weapons ranging from distinct guns and swords along with some devastating powers. When I first played the game, I got completely hooked as I was having a blast and felt like an absolute beast while slashing through waves of enemies with a banger soundtrack. The amount of fun that you are going to have across all three games is mind-blowing. The main character is funny and full of humor who keeps the story engaging with his jokes and dialogues. The soundtracks and music are some of the key elements in these games because they provide an immersive hack-and-slash experience. It's always cool to see different creatures getting killed by different weapons in multiple ways. There is no open-world concept as the game is quite linear. It will take you at least 7 hours to complete the entire Shadow Warrior 3. As for me, the best thing I liked is the music or soundtracks playing in the background while I slice through waves of enemies and manipulate my powers for different kill shots. Honestly, if you plan on getting into this series, then start with the third installment as it's more improved and well made.
If everything happens for a reason, that reason is a fully loaded shotgun.
Number 7. From Software Games. If you ask me what the best game is I recommend from this list, then this is my recommendation. Everyone needs to play the From Software games. There is no boredom in these games. It's only frustration and rage moments. I still remember the first time I played Dark Souls. Truthfully, instantly deleted the game after a couple of hours. I just couldn't find what to do and where to go. However, once I started playing the game again after a year, I can confidently say that it was the best gaming decision of my life. From Software games are not for everyone, but they are the pinnacle of hardcore difficult games. If it's your first time diving into these types of games, then I suggest playing Sekiro or Lies of P. Don't get me wrong, but if you start with Dark Souls, you will quit the game as some areas are hard to complete and will always get confused about where to go next. Lies of P is not an official From Software game, but it shares a lot of similarities. I also believe that it's a pretty easy game for this genre. On the other hand, you can choose to go with Sekiro. You will never have trouble finding your way, but will surely have a tough time killing even the normal enemies. Anyone can play From Software games as they will never disappoint you all, and the word boredom will never pop up in your mind. The sense of competition and getting better in the game takes all the boredom away. I know that a lot of players complain about these games, but it's only because of their own taste and skills. Take my word for it, if you stayed consistent and completed any From Software game. After that, the satisfaction is out of this world, and the next thing you realize you are playing another installment. Number 6. Sunset Overdrive. All you need to know is that this game is made by Insomniac, which if you don't know is the studio behind Spider-Man games. Sunset Overdrive is an underrated gem that got lost because Insomniac decided to focus majorly on Spider-Man. To this day, the game holds a great reputation in terms of linear and goofy humor game. The parkour moves are such a feast for the eyes. Low-key, sometimes when I look at this game it reminds me of Tony Hawk and Infamous. The game is an example of something that you will play after a long day of work, or maybe while having a Coke and some snacks. The game perfectly combines several gameplay mechanics, goofy humor, and traversal combat. The combat is not too difficult nor too easy. It's a perfectly well-balanced experience capable of making the players feel like they are on a roller coaster ride of interest and overall fun. Truth to be told, Sunset Overdrive needs a sequel. I personally think that Ratchet and Clan and Spider-Man stole the limelight from this game. You will surely thank me after playing it as it contains some fourth-wall breaking moments, and even references of other video games. The fast-paced action and the characters are the two things I like about this game along with the parkour moves. The main character is an outgoing, chatty type of person who will make every interaction playful and funny with his dialogues and punchlines. You can surely choose this game as there aren't any hardcore boss battles or deep storylines that require serious focus. Sunset Overdrive is a good choice for those who are tired of playing the same old gigantic open-world role-playing games.
All this place needs is a hero. One who doesn't just survive, but does it with style. Who is this hero? Me!
Number 5. Marvel's Spider-Man.
Gotta split before the cops get here. Never know how they'll react to me.
Now, I wanted to include the OG modern-gen Spider-Man solely because of better characters and storyline. In fact, I know that some of you guys may prefer Miles Morales or Spider-Man 2, but in my opinion, the first installment takes the cake as it has the best story and the DLCs were amazing. You can easily spend 50 hours without getting bored and just roaming around the city. The web swinging feels super satisfying. And while the story in the first part is arguably better, the second installment shines with improved graphics and the hype around Venom. Spider-Man 2 offers better gameplay, with enhanced mechanics and a more action-packed experience. The story, while more over the top, is packed with emotional moments and excellent character development for both heroes and villains. The side missions are also compelling, with Peter and Miles having gripping side story arcs. Graphically, Spider-Man 2 is a masterpiece. The city feels alive and bustling, with impressive ray tracing and detailed NPC activities. The combat is simplified but action-packed, with new abilities helping with crowd control. While some gadgets from the first game are missed, the streamlined approach works well.
Not how I thought today was gonna go.
Nevertheless, Marvel's Spider-Man is a go to choose for anyone who just wants to start up their PlayStation and play the game after a long day at work. The game offers all the major villains with stunning boss fights. The overall story is highly better than the recent 2 games. Even if you don't do the main missions, you can still roam around the New York City, climb buildings, jump from the higher spots, and even complete the side missions. The game literally offers everything and is considered as the modern-gen reboot of Spider-Man series. I know that by now all of you have played this game, so I guess it's not exactly a recommendation, but rather a mention. However, if you loved older Spider-Man games, then there is no reason to skip this one. The game is also available on PC.
Not how we planned it.
Number 4. Metal Gear Rising. One of the greatest masterpieces of Konami. I see no reason at all why they never made a sequel. From start to finish, Metal Gear Rising is all about hack-and-slash action combat. The soundtracks are the icing on the cake. It feels amazing to slash through enemies and destroy machines with a soundtrack in the background. I have said this a couple of times before in other videos that the game is an underrated gem, and a lot of players are sleeping on this. The amount of fun you will have in this game is crazy. You play as a robotic ninja named Raiden, and your main goal is mostly reach to the final boss while slashing through waves of enemies. Now, as easy as it sounds, trust me, it's a lot harder. Metal Gear Rising provides a decent level of difficulty which may invoke the sense of competition, as every time you die you will feel the urge to get better and start again. Also, the final boss is quite difficult, like literally hard to defeat. The guy has a big health bar and multiple phases. Surely, it will take you some time to beat him. Now, this is pretty much the important part about the game. There is not that much of a good story here. It merely acts as a base for the game. This is not a spoiler, as you will prefer the hack-and-slash combat over everything else. The cutscenes are also super satisfying, as there is always something impactful action going on. In the end, Metal Gear Rising is a game that highly deserves a sequel. I believe it must be the funds issue. The studio must not have had enough money to make another sequel. However, now is the perfect time to start working on the sequel. Imagine how amazing it would be if we get a Metal Gear 2 remake after the third, and finally the Rising sequel. Tell me in comments about your opinion about the Metal Gear franchise. Number 3. Bully.
Somebody wants to be handicapped. Come on, pansy, get out of my face.
Oh, come on, I never meant it. We're equals. Let's talk it out.
Often dubbed as GTA School or GTA Kids, Rockstar released Bully back in 2006, and it remains one of the company's standout games. The school's campus and the town in Bully may be small, but they're bursting with content. Rockstar filled every corner with unique NPCs, each offering some of the most unusual and entertaining side quests around. Despite its size, the game world feels vibrant and alive. As you explore the boarding school and the town, you'll hear students chatting, arguing, and going about their lives, with their routines changing throughout the day. You have plenty of freedom to interact with the world, which responds to your actions in a believable way. For instance, if you skip class, you'll get into trouble, and the school shuts down at the end of the day. The soundtrack is fantastic, there's always something interesting to see or do, and because everything is so densely packed, the game never feels padded out. It's like discovering a hidden gem of a game.
Do you have any idea how Oh, nut!
Number 2. Infamous Second Son.
Don't be a dick. Not bad.
Ooh, I'm so gonna be a dick.
The powers in this game are nothing like I have seen so far. For me, this game can go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man series in terms of open world and powers. Infamous is a game that you only need to play if you love parkour and free running, combining with some of the coolest powers in gaming history. This is a game where your only game is to just run around and have fun with your powers while showcasing some cool parkour moves. You only need to worry about your choices in this game, as your choices will decide whether you have good karma or bad karma. All this will change certain cutscenes and some missions or gameplay mechanics. Infamous is a game that is fantastic if you are in mood for some free roaming with awesome looking powers. It's like another Spider-Man game, but with different powers.
Fluttery, and let me get a shot! Oh, I'm gonna burn in hell for this.
I may be over-exaggerating here, but truthfully the 4 different powers are enough to make you purchase this game. The protagonist also looks super awesome while using these powers, especially video and smoke. You don't need to play the first installment as everything is easy to understand in the newest part. Also, Infamous Second Son is more visually improved along with some new gameplay mechanics. The game's core mechanics are its free running, parkour, powers, and the option to free roam. You can spend many hours into the game just focusing on the side content and messing with the NPCs. Sadly, the game is only available for PS4. Also, Infamous 2 was made by Sucker Punch, which happens to be the team behind Ghost of Tsushima.
Hey, Delson, I'm in the Lantern District. You still here?
Yeah, about time you made it across.
Before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Last of Us Remake. Fall Guys. Dead Island 2. Number 1. Sleeping Dogs. One of the most forgotten and underrated games of all time. The potential this game had is no joke. I am sure that even now if a sequel is announced the sales will go off the roof. Sleeping Dogs is a perfect game to every detail. The main character looks awesome, and the customization options are amazing for a 2012 game. I am not going to spoil anything, but the story is really good and worth experiencing. The game also offers a variety of killing moves and environmental traps. You can literally kill your enemies however you like. Sleeping Dogs is an open-world version of Sifu combat. Trust me when I say this, but when you play the game you will never feel like it's a decade-old game. The graphics and details are well made. The highlights are the free-running moves, different martial arts moves you learn throughout the playthrough, and the overall open-world setting. There is never a dull moment in this game. You can mess around with anyone and do absolutely anything just like in GTA games. Sometimes I even compare the game with Yakuza series in terms of side activities. I don't know what developers are thinking, but by now we should have received a sequel of this game. The open world is more explorable than any other similar game. You can interact with any NPC and will find it surprising to see how alive the Hong Kong city feels. Look, all I am saying is that the game does offer a lot of content and will keep you engaged for several hours. The replay value is high as you will love to play the game again after finishing it. The main missions are not repetitive and provide distinct stuff to do in each mission. Alright, this concludes the list of 10 games to play when you are bored. Believe me when I say this, but I have chosen only the best games in this list. There is no game on the list that will not provide you an immersive, amazing experience. Frankly, we all want something over the top and a fun experience whenever we are tired of the same old open world or FPS games. So, all these games will be your prime choice as there is never a second wasted here. If you have made it this far, then consider subscribing as I am close to reaching 5,000 subscribers. Click that subscribe button and suggest more video topics in the comments. Thank you, and see you later.